I got stuff for the Bontrager, and came all from St. Amazon. There it is. I think those are bars. There's other stuff in there. I think I went and got a 11 by 38 8-speed cog set, 38 tooth, because we're going to turn it into a 1x, and grips and other stuff. We'll be opening this up in a minute. Well, I got this thing cleaned up, and it's a I think it's a, what it actually is a 94 Bontrager, because like I said before, there's 3 serial numbers on the bottom bracket. The one set is from Trek, I recognize those, but then there's another one in there, and I think this is like, this bike was made before the sale of when Trek bought Bontrager. The other interesting thing that I found was that the seat post is a 26.8, and the Trek Bontragers, when they moved the whole operation to Waterloo, Wisconsin, those were 27.2 seat posts. So the other thing I've discovered was this is the race model. It's not the race light, it's the race. The reason is because I measured the head tube and it was 9 thousandths, but the top tube, down tube, seat tube, they go from 9, they're butted 9 thousandths on the end, they go down to 7 in the middle. The race lights were 8 thousandths with 6 thousandths in the middle. So this is a race, which is fine. It's still when you ride one of these bikes in the woods, they're a pretty good handling bike. A little bit they tend to it's not a point and shoot bike. They are a little squirrely. Very quick steering, because the head tube, I believe, when I looked at the specs, I thought I saw 73 and 73 seat tube. So, and then the top tube. In the 90s, bikes were weird. Mountain bikes were weird. They started very long wheelbase, slack head tube, yada yada yada. Road racers got into when road racers got into the mountain biking, they demanded a little bit tighter, more of a road bike geometry, and narrow bars, like your road bike. When I first started racing mountain bike back in 1983, 4, I started racing when friction shifting was still a thing. So anyhow, Keith Bontrager was a tinkerer, he was a really, I mean, the guy, you know, he was building bikes when he was going to college, out of his garage, and basically he was just taking, like, from what the little bit of research I did, he would take other bicycles, cut them apart, and then make what he wanted as far as mountain biking was concerned. Because, you know, in California, mountain biking was a big thing in 70. Let's see, when did they start riding? I believe he started building bikes in 79, 78, 79, and did real well for himself. I'm sure he did real well. His name is still all over the, you know, all slathered all over Trek bicycles with wheels, rims, seats, handlebars, tires, you name it. That name is on the stuff. Not like, it's surprising that, you know, like, Klein, pretty much once they put Klein to bed, there's nothing in today's Trek lineup that I've seen that has anything that is Klein related. Which is kind of weird. I don't know. It's just you just wonder what was going on in the boardroom. I don't know. He had a lot of neat things going for him with these bikes. There's a tab welded here, and there's a tab welded there on the down tube and the top tube. I'm surprised there's no tab welded here, though. You know, for a gusset or at the bottom bracket. The other thing what is interesting is on the bottom of the tube is actually flared out from the center of the tube. So the bottom of the tube is oval shaped, and not so much the seat tube, but the down tube is for I imagine lateral deflection. So let's start building this beauty, and hope everything turns out okay. I'm still waiting on one more. I'm waiting on a SRAM rear derailleur. I got one SRAM shifter. I am turning it into a one-by. It's got a cool race face crankset that I want to keep on here. It does. I looked at the part number on the V brakes, and those are LX V brakes, which I don't know. I don't think in that era of V brakes, the XT was any better. Maybe marginally. The other thing, I don't know. They make front like the Marzocchi or the Manitou fork is okay, and bit of a pain in the ass to rebuild. I took it all apart. The only problem I found was the bottom out, the top out rubber. So when your fork slammed back down, that was disintegrated, and what had happened was it coated the stanchion on the fork and made it super sticky. I had to scrape it all off with a razor, and I did put another top out, but this one I put I found off of a motocross shock, a rubber O-ring, thick one, I put that in to dampen that slamming. One side has one side is got a spring and an elastomer stack, and then one side it does all the dampening for the fork, and that's pretty much it. I the only what I hate, and I guess I'm just being a weight weenie now, is this fork weighs more than this frame. And it's like, gee, it's almost better to just have a rigid bike, because it'll, all of a sudden, like this bike, all kitted out, weighs 20, it was right around 26 pounds. Now if you put a decent chromoly fork, or even, I don't know, if somebody made a carbon fork for a 26-inch wheel with a 1/8 inch head tube, man, you'd have a light bike. It would be about, you're knocking 26 pounds off. Okay, you're knocking almost, it weighs, what did I weigh it at? It was like right around 3 pounds, and I think it was 3.7 pounds, so almost 4 pounds. You get rid of that 26, you get rid of that, you're down to 22-pound bike. And with even more judicious, say you get a carbon stem with carbon mountain bike bars, you're in the 18-pound range, and man, that would be a really fast bike, because you're not lugging this heavy. I mean, downhills would be fun, or an interesting practice, because you may get hurt. But I raced rigid bikes and won on rigid bikes. Matter of fact, one race I raced the Cannondale, and it was an SM800, but it was I wish I'd have kept that bike. It was on all Ritchie. It had Ritchie bars, Ritchie stem, had the pepperoni. Was it the pepperoni or the forks? Super light forks, aluminum forks. The only downfall, it was the first generation SRAM bar shifters, which sucked. I threw. It just would never. You had to take all of the. It wouldn't shift under tension. It would foul, and you'd slam. You'd slam the crank forward and have nothing. But I won on that. I actually won on that bike, and really loved it. It was super light, and a friend of mine that raced that day was, he asked me about, hey, wow, you don't normally go that fast. What the hell? And I goes, well, take it for a spin. He came back and he sold his Trek with the front suspension and bought one of them right away. And he was doing really well after. And because the pepperoni forks took a lot of the sting out from the trail, but when you climbed, there was no bobbing and any of that going on. It was all for forward motion. So let's get building this piece of junk. I'm taking a SRAM rival off. I got a brand new SRAM X3. But first we gotta put the railer extender on first, because I have a 40 top tooth, and where this is at, where I don't think the interference with the derailleur is going to be a problem. So we're going to go that route. Give it a little more clearance. Clearance. So anyway, there's a small like interlock in there to match this, so you gotta kind of watch how you put that in there. Uh-oh. That's not good. No, that's not gonna work. Oh, bloody hell. What the heck? Oh, I got all kinds of interference here. That's totally sucky. Oh, man. Nothing ever comes out simple. Huh. There it is. We got a clearance issue right through here. I'm gonna have to take a grinder and yeah, I need about a 16th clearance on there. Son of a gun. Why? It's so close. Why? Well, this sets us back, don't it? Yikes. Yeah, it's this area right here I gotta grind out, because it's about a 16th. Doesn't line up with this hole. Well, we'll be back then. Uh-oh. Pretty tight right there. See what happens. Tight, hopefully. Line up. clearance wise. Got about 3 millimeters there. Let's see what happens. Otherwise, I'll have to swap this to the other side, which is okay, I guess. Give us a little more clearance. Not that hard. Not the most difficult thing on the planet. One of these days I'm gonna organize this shop, but today is not the day. Oh my, that is, yeah, it's hitting right there on the chainstay. So that's fine. I'm just gonna put the chain ring on this side. That's all. That's fine. It'll work. Hassan. Maybe if now I'm thinking if I could have put a spacer there. Yeah, it's just barely hitting, but it's still too close. Well, we gotta fix that, hey? Well, guys, pretty much done with this. Got it all put back together. Things went pretty smooth. Everything is really nice. Headset's nice and smooth. Got the pedals on SPD style. Got new wires, new cable, shields, housings. The only issue I'm kind of toying with is I'm gonna have to figure out how, if I can get another bottom bracket to space this out so the chain ring is a little bit closer to the bottom bracket. Still give it like, I don't know, 5 millimeters of space, so it would kind of line up right in the middle of that cluster. So we'll see. Everything went back together really nice. I really like the bars. Kind of brings everything up without having a goofy stem. Just kind of like, I don't know, it feels like a tiller when the stem is at an odd angle. But otherwise, everything else on this bike is really nice. Everything came together. I rebuilt the Manitou forks, and hoping this spring we'll have all the bikes I've built over the winter. We'll take them out on a test ride out on the trail to this year and bomb around and get a review of how they feel and how they work. Like I said, the 90s bikes were kind of a road bike-ish feel as far as handling, quick handling. The only other issue that I'm kind of contemplating right now is I would like to get a rigid fork for this bike, but then it has to be suspension corrected, so it'll look kind of goofy, but I don't know. I'll see. I mean, see how this Manitou works out in the field. And everything else is really nice and smooth. The C-tube was really badly rusted on the inside. I just ran a piece of rod with a sandpaper and just kind of reamed it out to clean it out, flushed it. All this goop came out through the bottom bracket. But now the seat is nice and smooth. It's well lubricated, so it'll slide up and down real nice for me. And otherwise, then it's still a pretty light bike, even with this. The modern suspension forks of today are so much miles, years ahead of. I mean, this stuff was cutting edge back in 2000, early 2000s, but today it's kind of a dinosaur, and they're not really that good. But the hubs are all DX or XT. Wait, excuse me. Yeah, XT hubs, which are nice, really nice hubs. In the back, I got a 1140 chainring or 1140 rear cog set and a 38 in the front. And these are SRAM brakes. I thought they were LX, but after I cleaned them, I saw SRAM 7.0, whatever that means. It's just a V brake, and got the nice, cool, dark blue and black grips. I think they look nice. They complement the blue in the front. Blue cranks, blue pedals, and that's about it. I hope I did pick up another bike today, and I'll bring it over in a bit. Thank you for watching Vintage Dudes on Vintage Bikes. The next bike I'm going to be doing some work on is a Look 381 Laurent Jalibert signature model. Very pretty bike. And it has some hacks, and it's been ridden. And just want to do some updates and make it look nice. But have a good rest of your week, and please ride safely.